One of the dominant Christian denominations in the U.S., the United Methodist Church, is experiencing a major split. Since 2019, more than 7,000 congregations across the country have received approval to leave the Methodist Church. That's about a quarter of all Methodist churches in the U.S., and nearly 3/4 of those departures happened this year. United Methodist leaders gave congregations until December 31st to decide to leave. Factions within the denomination split over disagreements in theology, namely how the church considers LGBTQ+ ministers and congregants. In Oklahoma, where the United Methodist Church was one of the most practiced beliefs in the state, more than 120 congregations voted to leave the church. Adam Kemp is one of our community's correspondents. He is based in Oklahoma City and joins us now. So Adam, just give us the background we need to understand on this split. How did we get here?
Yeah, we're basically seeing the conclusion of what's been decades worth of debate and discussion in the United Methodist Church over sexuality. It's been a long time coming, and what experts are saying is the largest denominational split since the Civil War, basically. And it's focused on LGBTQ inclusion, whether or not the UMC wants to have LGBTQ pastors or congregants or same-sex marriages in their congregation. There's been a continuing push, despite the fact that the church has kind of been committed to their stance that homosexuality is not in congruence with their teachings. That push, though, for more inclusion has made some of the more conservative groups within the denomination uncomfortable, ultimately with them asking to be let out of the church. So in 2019, a general conference was held in St. Louis where they decided to let individual congregations vote to leave the United Methodist Church, to disaffiliate. Flash forward to now, more than a quarter of all those churches have voted to disaffiliate and leave the church.
Adam, more than 7,000 congregations since 2019 getting approval to leave. What's been the result of those churches leaving?
Right. Well, beyond the huge loss of the number of churches and congregants, it's also given rise to the Global Methodist Church in the United States, which is a more conservative branch of the United Methodist Church. They say they're going to adhere to more Wesleyan roots in their teachings and theology, which would mean, no LGBTQ ministers, no same-sex marriages within those churches. But also interestingly, many churches left the UMC to go non-denominational, to kind of choose their own path, which experts have said that, for 5 decades straight now has been a choice millions are making, and what they are seeing is becoming one of the larger, church denominations, non-denominations within the U.S.
You've been talking to some people who grew up in the church. How are they grappling with this change?
Yeah, I spoke with local pastor here, Aaron Tiger, who grew up basically in the United Methodist Church, followed in his father's footsteps to become a UMC pastor. Just what that process was like. He now himself is no longer a United Methodist pastor and led a church through the disaffiliation process as well.
It's been hard. I mean, there's just been a lot of grief. While there was a day, October 31st, when I was no longer a United Methodist pastor, I had been in my heart making that decision over the slow process of 4 years. So it was 35 years in the making of a connection, has kind of been 4 years slowly drifting away from seeing myself as a United Methodist, what we call elder in the church.
So, Adam, we mentioned that December 31st deadline for congregations to decide if they want to leave or not. What happens next?
Yeah, it's a time for analysis for the United Methodist Church in a lot of ways. They might have a better understanding of what comes next at their next general conference, which is this spring, where they will, experts say again, will have a push for more LGBTQ inclusion, including possibly changing their rules to allow for gay ordination as well as same-sex marriages within the church. But experts say the effects of this could be long tail, and that the church might have some soul searching to do as they have to analyze whether they can keep the number of employees they have, as well as seminaries across the U.S., and ultimately whether they can keep the number of churches they currently do have.
That is Adam Kemp, our communities correspondent based in Oklahoma City. Adam, thank you for your reporting. Good to see you.
Thanks.